Indy Lights stepping up and getting involved. And Jonathan Bird's Restaurant and Hospitality Group. And a big hit for James Davison. Yellow on the course. Exit of turn number 2 for James Davison.
We have a yellow flag. Yellow flag. Indicates it's already got a car on the backstretch. It's got a little bit of a problem. In fact, that's Robert Wickens is apparently tagging on. There it is right there. It seemed to, something must have happened. He came out of turn 2, seemed to move to the left just a touch, and then boom, right straight into the wall.
Of the race, we're on board his helmet camera as he climbs out of the RLL car. Here's a look at what happened, and Davison going so much slowly.
Oh, he just backed up
straight into the back of him.
I think he must have had some kind of a problem. I mean, the speed differential there was just colossal, and Takuma didn't have anywhere to go.
You just can't get out of the throttle if you're Takuma Sato. If he was to get out of the throttle, hit the brakes, he would just spin and crash by himself. But James Davison's kind of in no man's land there, and he's just going so slowly on the high line.
He should have been a bit. If he should have got up a little bit higher. And Takuma at that point, he can't pin it down. You see him turn there, he just understeers straight into him. Absolute passenger there.
Disaster.
I feel sorry for him.
For Takuma Sato, and it looked like Marco Andretti had a very close brush and came very, very closely to being.
So Jones out of his car, walked away toward the top of the screen. Wow.
Oh, that's just loose. It's gone by the middle of the turn. He's not around anybody. When the back end comes around like that, it's called oversteer. So we're not sure if something broke or if the car was just loose going in to create that oversteer. But now on board, let's ride along and listen.
Wow.
I'm starting to wonder, guys, if maybe something didn't break there because it was just a very quick little movement in the car. Either that or a very loose race car, and that's when the back end wants to come around, like I mentioned. And you become the passenger, Eddie, at that point in time and very early in the race. Very disappointing.
He was in a lot of dirty air and very low on the track when that happened.
Top right.
Very similar to Ed Jones. In the middle of the turn, the back end starts to come around. I thought that she was dealing with a car that was very neutral, too positive on the front. When we watched her earlier in the race, that means it's very difficult to turn into the turn because the back end wants to swap ends. Not sure if that's the case there, but looks very similar, as you mentioned, Eddie, to Ed Jones.
They're coming.
So this the 4th caution of the race.
Wow, these cars are so difficult to control when they're on the limit. When you're behind somebody, you get caught up in dirty air and you have a little bit too much steering in. He just had a tank slapper, whereas the last years you'd have had 800 to 1,000 pounds more downforce to help you. Look at that. He just barely got sideways and then lost control. This is all happening at 220 miles an hour.
The cars being so safe today, you see that white barrier that we have in front of the concrete wall, the safer barrier that we see on the upside there. Watch the steering wheel right now.
Almost
he corrects it. I almost got it. It comes back the other way. I've lived that. Then it starts to go into what you call, Eddie, as you mentioned, a tank slapper. Now you're along for the ride.
And you want it to go into
backwards. That safer barrier that's put there. Designed by the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, steel and foam energy reduction really helps soften the blow to cars hitting the wall.
So thinking forward as to what they're going to use.
All right, look for the yellow car. Wow.
Same thing. That's the same thing we've been seeing all day.
Ryan Hunter-Reay directly behind him, and Alexander Rossi made some brilliant moves not to get collected in that accident. Back end's light, it comes around. You cannot control that. Let's ride along now and listen.
Just lost grip.
Oh, so difficult as a driver because you know you're backwards and you're about ready to hit something. You just sit and wait.
As the young driver from Nazareth, Pennsylvania found the wall.
Same thing that happened to everybody else.
Wow.
Grip.
Back end started to come around. Got loose. He caught it halfway through the turn.
But when he hit the wall, it just ripped that right rear tire off the car. And after that,
once you hit the wall, everything starts coming off.